Good morning and welcome. I'm Boating at Large Commissioner Richard Lewis, and I'm here representing the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission. I'm honored to be here today with you to kick off Independence Day holiday weekend along the shores of our beautiful Susquehanna River. The 4th of July is only a few days away, and it's always the height of the boating season when the 4th rolls around. The Susquehanna, like many of other waterways throughout the Commonwealth, will be very busy with boating activity this holiday weekend. In fact, many of our state's roadways will also be busy with drivers heading to and from our waterways, picnics, other outdoor activities. Please, no matter what you're doing this holiday weekend and throughout the rest of the summer, make smart choices and stay safe. If you're boating, wear a life jacket. If you're driving, wear your seatbelt. And never, ever drink and operate a boat or a motor vehicle. With boating under the influence, or BUI as we like to call it, continuing to be a major contributing factor in boating incidents and deaths in the Commonwealth's waterways, our commission, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission, is once again participating in Operation Dry Water. It's a national BUI awareness campaign and enforcement campaign over the Independence holiday weekend. Through events like this one, we're trying to draw public attention to the effects of impaired boat operation, the importance of staying sober while boating and driving, and we're also intensifying our law enforcement efforts to detect and remove impaired boaters from our Commonwealth's waters. The Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission is proud to partner on Operation Dry Water with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, Pennsylvania State Police, and the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. All of these agencies have teamed together this weekend to help ensure safe and enjoyable experiences on our state's waterways and roadways and recreational lands, not only through the 4th, but through the whole rest of the summer recreational season. I'd now like to introduce Pennsylvania Department of Transportation's Acting Deputy Secretary for Highway Administration, Mike Keiser. Mike, the podium is yours.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning. I'm Mike Keiser, PennDOT's Acting Deputy Secretary for Highway Administration. Thanks for being here today. I'm pleased to be joined by my colleagues at the Pennsylvania State Police, the PA Fish and Boat Commission, and PA Department of Conservation and Natural Resources to highlight celebration as we head into the July 4th weekend. Safety is PennDOT's most important priority. This holiday, we're working closely with our partners and law enforcement to reduce impaired driving. The 4th of July marks the birth of our great nation, a fun summer day to gather with friends and family, share good food, fireworks, and memories. Pennsylvanians may head out to picnic in one of the state parks, or they may spend the day on a boat on one of our many waterways. Before heading out to these celebrations, PennDOT wants to remind motorists to keep safety top of mind. If your celebration includes alcohol, plan ahead by designating a sober driver or arranging for alternate transportation. Please never drive impaired. PennDOT data shows that there were 136 alcohol-related crashes, resulting in 6 fatalities over the Independence Day holiday last year. There were also 48 drug-related crashes, resulting in 4 fatalities during that same weekend. Those numbers should be 0. Impaired driving crashes are completely preventable. Motorists should know that impaired driving enforcement goes beyond alcohol impairment. Law enforcement also works to identify motorists impaired by drugs and prescription medication or a combination. Impairment is impairment. Crashes are not limited to roadways during the summer holidays. Our partners at the PA Fish and Boat Commission will tell you, just like you heard a few minutes ago, it's illegal to boat under the influence, BUI, as it is with DUI for driving under the influence. Our partners at DCNR will discuss safety in their parks while riding ATVs. According to PennDOT data, last year there were 207 ATV crashes that occurred in our roadway, resulting in 23 fatalities and 62 serious injuries for ATV drivers and their passengers. So whether operating a car, boat, or ATV, safety is everyone's responsibility. As you know, your friends and family head out to Independence Day festivities. Make safety part of your plans. Designate a sober driver. You can call a taxi, participate in rideshare, or use some other form of transportation. These have a cost, but obviously these costs are much cheaper than being charged with a DUI. Remember, a designated driver is a person who has nothing to drink, not the least amount to drink. If you are the designated driver, take that role seriously and do not drink any alcohol or take any drugs. Even a small amount of alcohol or controlled substance can alter someone's ability to drive safely. You can be arrested for a DUI, and we certainly don't want that to take away from your independence. If you have plans to travel this holiday weekend, don't forget to check our holiday travel restrictions page, 511 PA, while PennDOT will remove lane restrictions and suspend construction projects wherever possible. The holiday travel restriction page allows motorists to view interstate restrictions that will be in place over the weekend. Be safe while traveling, obey the speed limit, don't drive distracted, and always buckle up. I will now turn it over to the Pennsylvania State Police Commanding Officer of Troop H, Harrisburg, Captain Mark Major, to discuss law enforcement initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Acting Deputy Secretary Kaiser, for the introduction, and thank you to everyone here today as we prepare for the upcoming Independence Day holiday. Keeping the roads of the Commonwealth safe is one of the core functions of the Pennsylvania State Police. Residents and visitors to the Commonwealth are reminded this upcoming holiday season to exercise caution and be patient while traveling. Our troopers will be on patrol looking for aggressive drivers and impaired drivers. Whether your travels take you on a roadway, a waterway, or on a trail, driving under the influence is a serious crime that is 100% preventable. Unfortunately, too many people are still not getting the message. During the 4-day Independence Day travel period in 2021, troopers made 503 DUI arrests and investigated 4 alcohol-related fatal crashes. If a driver is suspected of being under the influence of legal or illegal drugs, a trooper will conduct a field sobriety test, and if necessary, will summon a certified drug recognition expert, DRE, to conduct an assessment of the driver. DREs receive specialized training to distinguish the physiological signs of impairment caused by a wide range of controlled substances. In 2021, state police DREs conducted 1,107 evaluations. Penalties for DUIs may include thousands of dollars in fines and court costs, a possible license suspension, and even prison time. Do us all a favor and please designate a driver. Use a rideshare program, take a cab, or establish another plan to get home safely if your upcoming holiday plans involve alcohol. It's just not worth the risk. The state police also wants to emphasize ATV safety during this year's holiday and remind riders not to ride under the influence. You will hear more about this particular topic from our partners at DCNR a little later. Last year, troopers investigated 186 ATV crashes that resulted in 19 deaths, and 36 of those crashes were DUI related. As of the middle of this month, state police have investigated 55 ATV crashes that have killed 7 people. 11 of the 55 crashes were DUI related. Please ride sober and don't be careless on an ATV. Finally, I also want to remind drivers of a very important law to protect you and all the emergency responders who work along the roadside, along the highways of the Commonwealth. The Move Over law requires drivers approaching an emergency response area to move over to a lane farther away. Drivers who are unable to safely merge into a lane farther away from the emergency response area are required to slow to a speed of no more than 20 miles per hour less than the posted speed limit. In other words, if you're unable to move over, drivers should gradually slow down rather than slamming on their brakes, as this could potentially cause a chain reaction crash. Remember, you must move over for emergency responders, including police, fire, EMS, tow trucks, and other roadside assistance vehicles. In closing, we hope to reduce the number of incidents with safety reminders like this one today. Please do your part to keep your fellow drivers, their loved ones, and everyone who works along Pennsylvania's highways safe. Remember to slow down, move over for emergency responders, and be patient, as traffic will be heavier than normal during the holiday weekend. And now I'll turn it over to Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission Water Conservation Officer, Carl Mays.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Waterways Conservation Officer Carl Mays, and my patrol district includes the beautiful waters of the Susquehanna River. The reason we're all here today is because the Independence Day holiday weekend is just around the corner. While boating can be enjoyed year-round in many parts of Pennsylvania, the 4th of July truly is the heart of the season, typically drawing large crowds to our rivers and lakes. We love to see boaters having a great time with families and friends around the holiday, and we want everyone to remain safe and make smart decisions. We're happy to partner with PennDOT, Pennsylvania State Police, and PA DCNR to promote safe and sober recreation this weekend and throughout the summer. I'll begin with the number one thing you could do when setting out on any boating adventures: wear a life jacket. Law requires that you have a life jacket on board for every person on your boat. Children ages 12 and under must always wear a life jacket when aboard a boat less than 20 feet in length, including all canoes, kayaks, and paddleboards. Even when not required by law, please wear a life jacket. In 2021, 9 people lost their lives in boating-related accidents. These were people of all ages and all walks of lives. Only 2 of the 9 were wearing a life jacket at the time of the mishap that resulted in death. According to Pennsylvania boating accident reports, roughly 80% of all boating fatalities occur annually because boaters were not wearing life jackets. Life jackets must be U.S. Coast Guard approved, all buckles and zippers must be functional, and the life jacket must properly fit the individual, including children and infants. To date, in 2022, 5 people have died in boating-related accidents. Please never boat under the influence of alcohol or drugs. This holiday weekend, from July 2nd through the 4th, the Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission will participate in Operation Dry Water. This nationally coordinated effort aims to prevent boating accidents and fatalities through awareness of the dangers of impaired boating and enhanced boating under the influence or BUI enforcement. Simply put, boating while impaired increases the chance for an accident. Just like operating a motor vehicle on the roadway in Pennsylvania, a person operating a boat is over the legal limit if he or she has blood alcohol concentration of 0.08 or over. Alcohol affects balance, coordination, and judgment. BUI penalties include loss of boating privileges, significant fines, and imprisonment. Boating under the influence applies to drugs as well as alcohol. Even some prescription medications can make operating a recreational vessel unsafe. Check with your doctor about the effects of any medications you may be taking.
Hello, I'm Star Ranger Operations Specialist Brian Price, and I would like to echo some of the sentiments of our other agencies up here. The 4th of July weekend is one of our busiest weekends in DCNR, and we always want it to be safe. DCNR has 121 state parks, 2.2 million state forests, with a huge amount of recreational opportunities. And these opportunities are physical in nature, everything from hiking, biking, hunting, fishing, kayaking. The very nature of these physical activities are combined with an environmental concern. Accidents on a trail system can make it difficult for rescue personnel to arrive there. Accidents on a waterway also have an additional hazard because of the water. We've talked about the ATV issues in our state park system and forestry at length in previous occasions, and today we've brought an ATV that'll be available to look at later on. Pennsylvania consistently ranks in the top 1 or 2 in states in the United States as far as ATV related deaths. It's something we got to do better at. This ATV here was operated by a 16-year-old, and most of these accidents, 33%, are in individuals under the age of 16. This individual was out riding with his family. He crashed into a tree and he died in front of his friends. The family was out to go out to a restaurant. They got called back. The grandmother, the mother, and the sister were all in their nice dresses because later on that day they were going out to celebrate Mother's Day dinner. So Mother's Day will never be the same for this family as for the rescuers that were involved and the personnel that responded. Here we are on 4th of July weekend. Let's not have another holiday turn into a tragedy for some family. So please, when you're out doing these activities in state parks and state forests, please limit your use of alcohol in the state forests, and in state parks we actually ban it due to the nature of our activities. Thank you, and we're available for any questions.
I have a quick question. Mr. Kaiser. Mr. Kaiser, I have a quick question. The numbers that you gave, is that across the state, I assume?
Yes, they were statewide records. Right.
That's all.
Thank you.
Increase the presence of DREs during this weekend, during 4th of July weekend?
When it comes to DREs, we try to make as many available as possible. We'll have as many troopers as we possibly can on the roadways this weekend. Obviously, just can't be doing traffic enforcement. There's a multitude of other incidents that we have to respond to, but there will be significant presence of troopers on the highways this weekend, including the use of members on federally funded overtime.
What about for folks kayaking or tubing out on the water, not necessarily in a boat with a motor, and then the use of alcohol in that situation?
Now, we never recommend, people doing that necessarily, but we don't. Fish and Boat Commission does not regulate like those tubes. Those are considered swim aids.
I'll comment too. Before I was able to prepare my remarks, I did a little research, and actually quite a few minutes after I prepared them, I found out about an accident that occurred recently in South Carolina in which 2 motorboats collided, and in one of the boats 4 family members were killed. In the other boat there were some survivors, including the driver, and the driver is being tested for driving under the influence. So what we're looking at here is real. We're looking at people who just ignore the counsel and advice to operate a motor vehicle or operate a boat while they're under the influence. And if they would just think of the tragedy they might cause to other people, maybe they might think differently.
Sure, some basic safety information that everyone should know is to make sure that you're not letting a child ignite or be around fireworks, especially those aerial consumer fireworks that are out there now. Making sure that the fireworks are ignited at a distance greater than 150 feet from any kind of occupied structure. And most importantly, making sure you have the permission of the property owner, whether it's private or public, before detonating any fireworks. There are some basic summary offenses that are associated with the use of fireworks, and some of those do include detonating or igniting fireworks within a small area or neighborhood that is less than 150 feet from a building. Obviously, firing or shooting fireworks at a person or from or at a moving vehicle, or not even a moving vehicle, even a building. Okay, vehicles and buildings are off limits for that. Another punishable offense, obviously, is while under the impairment of a controlled substance or alcohol, as well as being in possession of any type of illegal fireworks such as the M80s, cherry bombs, or the quarter or half sticks commonly used out there. Absolutely. According to the National Fire Protection Association, there's approximately over 19,000 fires per year directly associated with the use of fireworks or misuse of fireworks. Also, as far as an injury standpoint goes, 2020 report by the Consumer Product Safety Commission, there's been 15,600 injuries related to the misuse of fireworks. 2/3 of that number was occurred around the 4th of July holiday. So with the increase now of sales of fireworks, it's definitely important to make sure that we're using fireworks safely because we do anticipate that number of injuries to increase. Safety is always a priority, making sure that the smaller fireworks are being supervised and handled appropriately. You mentioned water. It's always a good idea to have a hose or a bucket of water nearby to make sure that that item is completely extinguished. Many people do take an expended cartridge of a firework and throw it into a trash receptacle, which then in turn sometimes does ignite combustible materials within that container. So it's important to make sure that that container or item is completely cooled off with water.
Mark did suggest City Island if you need to, more shots.
Sober while boating and driving, and we're also intensifying our law enforcement efforts to detect and remove impaired boaters from our agencies have teamed together this weekend to help ensure safe and enjoyable experiences on our state's waterways and roadways and recreational lands, not only through the 4th, but through the whole rest of
State parks, or they may spend the day on a boat on one of our many waterways. Before heading out to these celebrations, PennDOT wants to remind motorists to keep safety top of mind. Motorists should know that impaired driving enforcement goes beyond alcohol impairment. Law enforcement also works to identify motorists impaired by drugs and prescription medication or a combination. Boat under the influence, DUI, as it is with DUI for driving under the influence. Our partners at DCNR will discuss safety and their
for alcohol-related fatal crashes. If a driver is suspected of being under the influence of legal or illegal drugs, a trooper will conduct a field sobriety test, and if necessary, will summon a certified drug recognition expert and please designate a driver. Use a rideshare program, take a cab, or establish another plan to get home safely if your upcoming holiday plans involve alcohol. It's just not worth the risk. The state police last month, state police have investigated 55 ATV crashes that have killed 7 people. 11 of the 55 crashes were DUI related. Please ride sober and don't be careless on an ATV. Finally, drivers who are unable to safely merge into a lane farther away from the emergency response area are required to slow to a speed of no more than 20 miles per hour less than the posted speed limit. In other words, if you're unable to move over.
According to Pennsylvania boating accident reports, roughly 80% of all boating fatalities occur annually because boaters were not wearing life jackets. Life jackets must be U.S.
I can send you a picture of it. I can send you kind of what we're talking about. And the guy that I'm dealing with, he's trying to get as much stuff donated. And the man on the rabbit hole, do you want to go? Do you want to do some modifications so it's safer on the roads? You can put disc brakes on it. You can put, it's a little bit not geared so low, because there's a lot of different stuff that we can do. And what paint? And they're still unclear as to how we're going to go. So if you want to be part of that conversation, if you have ideas to use it down the road, you think, that it's better suited this way than that way, it's a blank canvas at this point. Right now, it's just some of our rural areas for some. Yeah. That's just like let it get it out there. That's one of those. It's such a being on this side. It's interesting how much we have to rely on them for certain things. Whether or not destroyed portion of the roadway, the initial estimate was like $60,000 putting some on the scope road, and they were talking about charging them, and they worked with him, and he was willing to give $10,000. Darren's been there, so yeah. Do you foresee this, like, you're gonna retire the Ranger? Oh yeah. I'll get out there sometime too. Hopefully I see you under good circumstances. That's what's always funny. It's like